I guess I don't. Good day, my peoples. Good day, my peoples. I wanted to kind of touch in on a little thought that I had. So, I'm outside in the backyard, y'all, in nature. All right. Okay. Let me get something straight real quick. Let me throw out a little disclaimer before I even start this right here. Anything that I say in this video right here, or in all the videos that I do for that matter, I am talking about myself and what may work for me. Okay? This right here does not fit you. Hey, it don't fit you. If you can find anything that I'm saying, if you can find anything that I'm saying as a value, have at it. However, this right here is what I do, and I speak for me. So if I may say a few things, if I missay some things, you know, when I may say you, I mean me. Okay, I just wanted to get that out the way. Now that I got that out the way, let me go ahead and get into what I've been what I was saying. So along this journey of trying to heal and trying to recover from losing Junior, what I realized is this right here, and to be honest with you, it's gonna kind of hit kind of tight for those who've been down this path, but I'm speaking on myself right now. What I learned and still learning is that in order to heal, you have to take accountability. Now, a while back, I did a video where I was talking about taking accountability for things that's not even in your hands. You know what I'm saying? Things that's out of your hands. You know, taking accountability for. And that right there is one of the things that you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to do that right there in order to begin the healing process, or to maintain the healing process. Certain things you're gonna have to take accountability for. You know what I mean? And so that's what I've been doing myself. I've been taking accountability for some of the things, you know, around me that's preventing me from being able to move a little further in the healing process. Things that's within my reach that I know that I can do. You know what I'm saying? Things that's within my reach that I know that I can, you know, make an attempt on, at least in my way. I'm gonna tell you something. One of the things is gonna be not to ignore your angel guides that you're gonna have up here. Okay, you're gonna get that, and those angel guides, like I said, they're gonna tell you some bitter truths. Okay, there's gonna be some bitter truths that these angel guides are going to tell you. Okay, and so me listening to that right there beforehand, this right here is why I'm trying to progress where I'm at now, you know what I'm saying, but trying to move a little further, okay? Because like I told you before, the angel guys that I had, you know, just going back now, looking back at in hindsight, from what they told me back then, I see what they mean now. So remember, back then, when I was making my videos, I would tell you how these angel guys, they were just raw. They were just straight up raw. You know what I'm saying? They was telling me, you know, they was asking me stuff like, why am I doing this to myself? How you feeling like this? I mean, they would ask you some raw questions, and it'd be at your worst times when you was down, you know what I'm saying? And you would be hearing this stuff right here. And you know where it's coming from. You're not just hearing stuff, but you know where it's coming from. Well, in order for you to really, for me, to move on and try to make some type of attempt to move on, man, I had to accountability for what I was feeling. Not saying that I was responsible for getting there, but how I was feeling, I had to take some type of accountability for that right there. And what do I mean by that? Well, in this community right here, for what we got going on, for the people that done been down this path, you're going to hear a lot of people tell you things like, and this right here is within the community of what we got going on. What's going on, man? You're going to hear some people that's going to tell you, that, you know, hey, this right here is going to take a long time. It's going to be a while for you to be able to get over and stuff like that. You're going to hear that at times. And that's not to say that it won't. I'm telling you, that's not to say that it won't. It very much could. You know what I'm saying? And that only depends on how far you let it go. Because like I said, initially, you got an impact initially. There's an impact that hits you initially, and you probably gonna stay in that, in that initial shock. You will stay in that initial shock initially, but it's gonna be some times when, like I said, you ain't gonna be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and that light, that tunnel gonna be pretty long. And so, in that moment right there, like I said, you're gonna have to be grounded. You're gonna have to be stable in how you feel at that moment right there. And because you're not going to be able to see that far down, but in that process of going far down, you still going to understand that I can't stay where I'm at up here. You're going to understand that you cannot stay like that up here, because you're not going to get nowhere. You're going to mess around at some point in time, and you're going to hurt yourself. That's what came to me. At some point in time, if you keep on going down this path, you're going to hurt yourself. You look up, 25, 30 pounds lighter than where you was before, because you keep on taking yourself down this path. Now, mind you, like I said, after some point, only you can do this right here to yourself. Again, you're going to do more hurt to yourself, because you keep on living in the moments. There's not nothing wrong with having a moment. You're going to have a moment. And I had to learn this. I'm still learning this as we go. You're going to have your moments. But you just can't live in the moment. That's the whole thing. It's about you living in the moment. Because when you live in that right there, that's when you start to hurt yourself. And then at some point in time, something going to come to you and ask you, why is you doing this to yourself? Why is you doing this to yourself? Again, it ain't going to hear it. Yourself right here to yourself. It's something that you're doing, and it's keeping you at a low vibration. And I'm gonna tell you something else that keep you at a not low vibration, but it kind of like slows your recovery process. When you got too many people that steady patting you on the back about the loss, there's nothing wrong with accepting condolences, but you cannot live in those moments of where a compassion, so to say, because that's gonna keep you locked into that low area. It'll be hard for you to get up out of that. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, there's nothing wrong with accepting condolences and stuff like that, because these people they got some type of love for you. They feel some type of sympathy for you. So I'm not saying just write them people off or nothing like that. But what I am saying is too much of the people coming in reminding you when you're trying to heal that they giving you their condolences and everything, and they living in that right there. Okay.
All right.
Too much of that right there, it would actually keep you in a position where where you still feeling down, and you really don't want to. That's not a position where you want to be at, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to heal. You want to come away from that, and like I said, one of the things with me that I started doing was just being real with myself. Some of this stuff right here ain't working. You know what I'm saying? So now I got to be real with myself and say it's not working. Why is it ain't working? Is it because of me? Is it because of me the reason why this stuff ain't working? How much energy are you really putting into trying to make yourself heal? How much energy are you putting inside that? And are you being aware of when your energy is increasing? Do you know when your energy is up? Do you know when your energy is going down? You see what I'm saying? Do you know how to regulate that energy? See me, I've been trying different things. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying different things because see, at the beginning when this right here stuff right here first happened, you know, initially when this stuff right here first happened, you know, I was going in deep. You know what I'm saying? It was like I was going in for everything. I'm going in for autopsy reports. I'm going in for photos. I was going in for everything because I just couldn't wrap my mind around what was going on. But see, I'm gonna tell you something. Like I said, you know, in doing that right there, in doing that, what tends to happen when you do that is you create a space in your mind where it make it just that much more harder for you to recover. You see, I was watching my son's autopsy pictures. I only seen them twice. But when I looked at those autopsy pictures, you know what I'm saying, the recovery work that I was doing when I was feeling good, it kind of like brought me back, and it was hard to forget that again. You know what I'm saying? And that right there is what I mean by taking accountability, you know, for your recovery. Because when I was doing good at some point in time, you know, curiosity got the best of me, and I just had to. Curiosity got the best of me, so I had to go look at some autopsy pictures, right? And that didn't make me feel good. And it took too long to leave my head. You understand? And that was the first time that I had seen him. So the second time when I had to see him, it was like almost, it was a forced type of thing when I had to see him the second time. But I haven't seen him no more since then. But that's what I'm talking about. What that did was that slowed me down. Me looking at them autopsy pictures, because that didn't bring no joy to me. That ain't bring no joy to me. That was me looking at it because it was, you know, for me, like I said, I'm a deep diver. You know, curiosity had got the best of me. You know, at that point in time, I didn't get a chance to see what his mother seen at the scene. So I needed to see that, and I needed to see that in depth. And I did that right there. And trust me, you pay dearly for that. Mentally, you could pay dearly for that depending on how your loved one look around there. So if you already running good and you running strong and everything, don't you do it. I don't recommend that you do it. Now, if curiosity is getting the best of you and you strong enough and you think that you can go through that and you can look and see stuff like that, then hey, have at it. Who am I to tell you how to recover, how to heal? This right here is what I did. But I know as a result of that, it kind of like set my process back from healing. But it could have been for a reason, though. Could have been for a reason. Because again, like I said, after so long, you hold yourself back. After so long, you stop your own progress from processing because you stuck in your emotions, you stuck in your feelings, and it might be rightfully so. I'm not taking that. But you could do that right there, and can't nobody do this but you. And then you'll drag yourself into all type of health problems and everything. You know what I mean? That's very, very, very likely that you can do that. So, like I said, for me, like initially, what I did, I ain't gonna even lie to y'all. This is what I did initially, and this is right here is probably one of the things that had me zeroed in on spirit as well. I'm gonna tell you what I did. What I did initially was I had to go see some therapy. And you know what therapy I got? The best therapy I got came from a psychic medium. Absolutely. I'm telling you, that psychic medium told me stuff and you know that this psychic medium, you know these people don't know you, go talk to a psychic medium for about 15 minutes. If you don't, you know, just to get the feel of it. Because see, some people don't believe in that realm, but when you're dealing with your spirit, they part of that line too. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to get inside all that right there, but this right here was the probably one of the biggest tools that really helped me see a bigger picture than what I was seeing. It was me going to go see a psychic medium, going to talk to a psychic medium. I didn't go in and, you just call them and stuff like that. And when I tell you, when you learn about the spirit, when you start um, um, having certain feelings that was unanswered, you couldn't put your finger on, it's a good chance that them psychic mediums, they gonna tell it to you. They gonna tell it to you, and guess what? It's gonna resonate with just you. But this right here gonna go back to what I was telling you about doing the work and paying attention to the stuff that goes on around you. Because when these people get to talking to you about this stuff right here, they gonna tell you some stuff, and you might have to think back on it. It might be some stuff that happened recently, and you're gonna have to think back on it, because again, once you start going into that spirit realm, the person that you going in that spirit realm for is not. That's not the only one that you're going to get in contact with. That's not the only one. You're going to come up with a bunch of them. It's going to be a bunch of them. It's not just going to be the one that you're going in there for, and you just went down this rabbit hole right here, and you about to see what it's about. And it's not scary, y'all. It ain't nothing scary. It's just you finding out stuff that you already knew, and it's going to confirm with you. And this right here is going to help you feel a little better about the passing of your loved one, whether it's your mama, whether it's your dad, whether it's your child, whether it's whoever it was that was close to you. I'm telling you, if they was close to you, go talk to a psychic medium, okay? And pay attention, man. Pay attention to what they have to say, because you're going to learn a lot more about your spirit talking to them than you probably would have going to anybody's religious entity anywhere. Take my word for it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's the main thing I did. And then another thing that I did too, like if for instance, if let's say I didn't want to talk to a psychic medium or something like that, you could look up some of these shows that talks about psychics as well, psychic mediums as well. One of them being Seatbelt Psychic. Look up Seatbelt Psychic on YouTube and just pay attention to what's going on, man. Just look at it. If you have lost one, because this right here is what I had to do. When I lost my son, I was trying to find anything that worked, anything that would help, something that I could relate to. And what I found that was more relatable is when I started looking at stuff, like I said, Seatbelt Psychic. You could find a couple of NDE videos. You know what I'm saying? You could look at a couple of those right there. Whatever it is that help you. You know, if you had to get a vision, if you wanted to see what this stuff looked like, that right there was a path that I wouldn't, necessarily steer you away from, to be honest with you. And talking to them psychic mediums, you know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff gonna tie in. You're gonna start seeing a lot of stuff. And like I said, you're gonna start, listen, you're gonna be put together. You're gonna have to ground yourself. For real, for real. And you know what? Speaking of ground yourself, that's what I'm doing right now. I ain't mean to switch the subject on y'all like that, but that's what I'm doing right now, y'all. I'm grounding myself. I'm grounding myself. I'm grounding myself. I'm gonna show you something. Let me fix myself up real quick. Let me show you how I ground myself. And this right here is just something that I made on my own. You know, I'm trying to keep a little balance in somewhere, you know what I'm saying, within the body. So let me get myself together. Let me show you what I did. Let me show you what I do to ground myself. I gotta just make it, I'm wetting my feet right now. I'm wetting my feet right now so I can show you what that look like for me. So right now what I'm doing is I'm grounding my feet. Right here, let me show you what that look like. See this right here? I'm grounding my feet right now, and I'm grounding it through the earth. And I've been doing this right here the whole time I've been on with y'all. So you're probably wondering, what is this right here, right? Well, you can ground yourself simply by just getting barefooted and just standing on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Standing on the grass. You know, you can ground yourself. And that's because there's a field, you know what I'm saying, that there's some type of field, a negative field of energy, for lack of better words, that's naturally here. And so what I do is I just ground myself and I use water as a conduct. Boom. As a conduct. Boom. And then for y'all that want to know if this stuff right here works or whatever, I could at least show you the field. So here's what I did to see my little gadget right here. Let me show you something. This right here is my multimeter right here, right? And so what I did to test to see if this right here, what I'm doing, if that right there is working or not, let me see. This is what I did. I'm trying to do this with one hand, and hopefully y'all can see it. Let me turn that on. Okay, now watch this right here. Just so y'all can know that my leads are working. Like I said, I'm gonna tie this thing into continuity. So when it touches, you can hear when these right here touch, you can hear the beat. Okay, so we good there. Okay, so look. Boom. So we know these right here is working, at least for what I'm trying to do, right? So I'm gonna go back over here to the DC settings, to 200M, right here. I'll show you something. That's what I set mine to. Now, just to show you that there, right there, just to show you the measurement, because you can't see this stuff. Like, if you want to see how this stuff look, like, you wouldn't be able to see it with the naked eye, so you need a multimeter so you can be able to see it, right? So watch this right here. I want y'all to watch something really good, right? Now, what I want to do is I want to see if this right here is working. What I'm doing to my feet, I want to see if this right here is working. So what I'm going to do, the way that I do it, is I take this right here, the positive, right here, and I take it and I touch this right here. I touch the rod. This right here is like a little strand, a little rod that I got pushed in the ground, probably about maybe a foot in the ground, both of them. So what I do is I touch this right here up against here, boom, and I stick it in the ground, but I make sure that it's touching, because that rod going in the ground and give it a better connect. So boom, try to do it like that. So that sticks right there, right? Watch this. You see those numbers right there? Watch this. Watch those numbers right there. What you gotta do is you're gonna take this right here and you're gonna touch this with your hand. Now, this is all I got going on. This is the whole setup, okay? You see my feet, it's still in it. Now watch this, watch those numbers. You see how those numbers jump? Right there. And then, hold on, let me see, they get even higher. Now, for y'all that's and they get higher than that right there, I'm not really grounded good, because they go up, there you go. No, hold on, here you go, let me see, let me make sure I'm right. There you go. See, I gotta make sure I got a good connection. That's what I'm talking about with this thing right here. It could be my lead that I'm holding. Hold on. I wanna make sure I'm right, because I don't wanna tell y'all nothing wrong. I don't show y'all nothing wrong. Let me try it over here. It's dirty. Okay, so let me try it over here. Stick that in the ground. Okay, wait a minute. Now, if I take my foot, let me see. There you go. You see that? You see that? See how that number just jumped? You see that right there? It's fluctuating because I'm moving. But did you see how it went all the way over to like 100 and something? That's how you know it's working. Now, when I take my foot up out of there, you will see that those numbers they kind of like dissipate. See what I'm saying? It's like, and that's just because I'm holding the tip right there. Okay, my feet are not in the loops anymore. Now when I touch my foot back on the ground, watch what happens to the numbers. Just me putting my foot back on the ground, the numbers go up. And I'm not even really grounded for real. I'm not even really grounded for real. The numbers just going back up. So this stuff right here works. It works. So what I did was, you see that right there? I got that right there is down, touching it right here. You see them numbers? Let it go. See? This right here is with my foot grounded. See that? Now watch this. When I touch that right there, those numbers, see how that number just went up? Let me let it go. I'm gonna touch it again. See how those numbers just went up? It went all the way up. Now, for those that say, hey, look, watch this. I just take this red one out, right here, out the ground, right here, and see what happened. See how the numbers went down? I'm still holding this right here with my hand. I'm still holding that with my hand. I wish I could just... trying to get all this stuff in there. I'm a terrible cameraman. But I just kind of like want to get all this stuff right here in one. Okay, let me see. Okay, so boom. This right here. Boom. See that? See that number? Let it go. You get nothing when I turn that loose. See what I'm saying? You get nothing. This is how you measure that. This is how I measure it. And then when I let this right here go with my right hand, watch the numbers. And I'm still holding on to it here. Touch it again. That's the reason why that rod is in the ground like that. Because I could touch this right here. This right here is ground. Now, if you want to see what that rod look like this. Long copper rod. Yep. Right there. Long copper, just right here, like I said. And I made this right here, y'all. I made it. It's a copper rod right here. That what I do is I take this right here. And the only thing I did is took this right here. I'm in my backyard. And take this right here and I just stick it down here in the ground. All the way as far as I can go with it. Boom. Like that. That little loop that you see right there. That right there is for your toe. So that's why I say you go down as far as you can with it, just like that. And then you just take your doggone toe and slide that bad boy right in there like some flip-flops, Jack. You cool. Boom. And then what you want to do is you probably might want to take a little water, because that's like a good kind of. Boom. Now let's see if it worked though. Let's see if it worked. I'm gonna do this one right here. I'm gonna hold this. Sorry y'all again, I'm a terrible camera guy. Sorry y'all, I'm a terrible camera guy. Let's see if it worked. I'm gonna hold this. Try to get the numbers to it. trying to get. I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on. Okay. Touch this right here. Touching that. Now I'm gonna touch with my hand. Yeah, it's working. It might not be as high. Maybe I got to get a better ground. But you can see, look, it's in the 100s now. Versus me taking that off. And guess what's happening? You see how that number coming down? So it's working. This is why I try to tell y'all, this stuff works. See? Or I could do it vice versa. I can touch this right here and let this go. And you're going to do the same thing. So that's how you measure that right there, okay? That's how I was measuring. In terms of me grounding, that's how I was measuring it. And that right there is how I was grounding myself. And that's how I'm going to keep on doing it, okay? So, with that being said, he gone. Alright. Yeah. Ham Corona. Go get with me. You have any questions or anything, just let me know. I've been out here grounding. You got any questions or anything you want to know about? You know, hey, let me know. That's what I'm here for, man. Like I said, this road to recovery for healing, it ain't been the prettiest. I ain't heard the grandest things always. It ain't been the worst. You know what I'm saying? Definitely haven't been the worst. But it's gonna take some effort though. It's definitely gonna take some effort. It's gonna take some effort, it's gonna take some time. But I tend, for me, what I do is I take what people say and I use it as motivation. That's what I do. I take what people say and use it as motivation. When people tell me that it's gonna take me a long time to get over this and it's gonna take me a long time and this stuff never leaves you and stuff like that, I tend to say, oh yeah, well let's see about that. But that right there can only go as far as you allow it to go. Because mind you, who's doing this right here? You or somebody else? And think about that for a minute. Who's doing this? Is you doing it to yourself? You really doing this to yourself? After so long, you really doing this to yourself. You're doing it to yourself off the rip, but you're doing it to yourself. Another point that I wanted to make too, I noticed that when I was doing this right here to myself, I wasn't in my highest energy. I wasn't in my highest energy. As long as my energy was low, I was doing this right here to myself and not even realizing it. Because that right there is where I was living at. You know what I'm saying? Which made me feel like, you know, for people that's typically in the same situation like me, you know, it seemed like the lower your energy is, the harder it is for you to get over. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why you don't want your energy to be low. That's why you pay attention to certain things. When you start feeling your energy get low, you want to kind of like veer away from that stuff right there, because you going through something right now and you're learning something. Actually, for real, you should be learning something. You know, in this place, or you can just let this situation take the best of you and just let life happen. Let life just start lifing for you. You know what I'm saying? You could do that. I don't recommend you go that path. Be stronger than that right there. I know it hurt initially. It sure do. It still hurt. You know, like I said, I didn't make it to this spot right here where I'm able to talk about this stuff day in and day out. You know, by sitting around. You know, sitting around grieving and crying all day long. You know what I'm saying? Again, I don't tell nobody how to grieve. You do whatever's best for you. You do whatever works for you. And don't let nobody tell you what's best for you. What I am saying is, I couldn't stay in that. I couldn't stay in that. I don't like feeling like a victim. I don't like feeling like a victim, whether directly or indirectly. I don't like that. I don't like being in victim status. I just don't. And when I feel like I'm in a victim status, I got to do something to get myself off from away from that. You know what I mean? But that's just me, though. That's just me. Because in order to heal, I'm going to tell you, you're going to have to get away from victim status. Tell me. Ain't no way around it. You're going to have to get away from the victim status. And guess what? It might not even, like I said, it ain't that you playing victim. I'm not saying that you playing victim. You not even playing victim. You actually is a victim in this right here. You know what I'm saying? But you can't live in that status right there, because living in that status, you will never be able to grow. You can't grow in victim status because there's too many people that's giving you energy on keeping you where you are at. Oh, it's okay, things will get better, I understand, and da. You know what I'm saying? Like, those things help to a degree. Too much of it, it keep you stagnated. That's what happened to me. That might not happen for you. Okay? Anywho, I'm gonna get on up out of here. I've been speaking too long, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Hey, Uncle Ronnie, go over there and check me out. Go over there and subscribe. You got any questions you want to ask, hit my inbox, or you can comment up under this right here, video right here, and let's chat. Let's chat.